Paul, FA Cup weekend, I'm sure you've got some special memories as a player, and it's time to make some more with Torquay United now.
I haven't got that many special ones as a player. It's a competition that I didn't do very well in, actually. So yeah, not too many special memories. We're looking forward to it. It's a typical FA Cup game. I think it's going to be a pretty cliched answer for me that our mentality is going to have to be absolutely spot on Saturday to progress in the FA Cup.
Bishops Cleeve, from their end, have described this as the biggest match in their history.
Yep.
So in a way, they're saying that the pressure's off them. How do you counter that?
I just think I think it is all about our mentality. They're going to be up for it. It's going to be a big crowd. They'll be, I'm sure, motivated to beat a big club. And we know we're in for a tough afternoon. Absolutely. We've all been involved in these FA Cup games before, and they're not as easy as people think. They're very, very tough games.
National League South is obviously at the end of the season what this club is going to be judged on, how well we do in that. But do your preparations, are they different at all for a game like this?
No. Haven't picked the team yet. I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go. But at the end of the day, it's a game of football, no matter what the prize is at the end of it. So National League South, there's 3 points on a game. And on Saturday, it's about being in the draw on Monday for the next round, simple as that. So it's a game of football there that we want to win, and we want to progress in the FA Cup as much as any other club does.
We're talking now 5 days on from the Welling game, which brought to an end the unbeaten run. It was a game that we could have quite easily have won, but it was one that sort of ran away from us in the end. How do you look back on it 5 days on?
A little bit of frustration, a little bit of disappointment, but like you said, we're 5 days on now, so what's happened. I mean, it's just to summarise it quickly. I think we were cruising first half without being mind-blowingly good. I thought we were cruising. We obviously, the big talking point was the goal that got disallowed, which I've since had an apology from the match officials, admitting they were wrong and that it should have stood. So I appreciate the phone call and I appreciate the apology. That doesn't help us obviously, but I mean, I make mistakes every day of my life, so it's human error is human error. And these things weirdly have a way of balancing out over a season. So. But I'm convinced if we'd scored the first goal on Saturday, I'm convinced we wouldn't have lost the game. But it's all ifs and ands, isn't it? We hit the post second half. The Welling's keeper makes. Is it going to be one of the saves of the season? I would think so. But and then talking about all that, I mean, the first goal we didn't defend it well enough. So as I said after the game, yes, all of that happened, but. We didn't defend the first goal well. The second goal was irrelevant. It's last kick of the game when we're trying to force the issue and get an equaliser. So disappointment and frustration, but look, it's done. It's gone. So full focus on Bishops Cleeve.
Does it act as, I'm sure that you didn't read very much, but if you don't take your chances, even if you're unlucky, even if you have a goal to slam, even if you hit the crossbar, even if you hit the post, if one of those doesn't go in, you could end up paying the price for it at the end of the game?
But if we defended the first goal better, we'd draw 0-0. So, you've got to respect a point away from home as well. So, look, at the end of the day, we've lost the game. We've had 8 league games, won 5, lost 2, drawn 1. Sat there with 16 points after 8 games. I'm comfortable with where we are as a club, as a squad. As a start to the season. So. It's not going to be a progression. It's not going to go like that all the time. There's blips. It's football. It's why we all love it, because it's not plain sailing. So it's like I said. Of course, there was disappointment. The bus was a bit quiet. The bus was quiet when we lost to Farnborough as well. But you just got to use. I think disappointment can be a really good motivator. I think it can be and if you feel. A little bit of injustice at the ref's decision, which is human nature again, as I said, you've got to use it to fuel motivation for the next game, I think. So, we've put it to bed. We've trained well this week. Another couple of training sessions to go, and like I said, we're all looking forward to the game on Saturday.
And how are things looking on the squad front for availability for Saturday?
Well, I think we're the same as we were for Welling. So Jordan, obviously, we know about is mid-term, and I think it'll be a game too early for Jay and Dan. Other than that, we're fine.
Paul, you mentioned earlier that you may not have had the most exciting or best memories of the FA Cup, but what do you think it is about the competition that still makes it so special?
I think it's games like Saturday, because everyone wants to see an upset, don't they? Everyone wants the underdog to win, because that's what we are, innit? When you're British, you want the underdog to win. I think it's and I think it's the upset, and it's seeing the big club tumble. Hopefully that doesn't happen to us on Saturday, but I think that is the magic of it. I can sit here and get all nostalgic about when I was a kid. The FA Cup final was an amazing, as I'm sure you all remember. It started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was amazing. The road to Wembley and all that sort of thing was great. I think it's lost that a little bit of spark of that, because I think there's lots of Premier League teams now use it almost as a reserve team in the early rounds, which is not for me to. It's nothing to do with me, but we show Bishops Cleeve the utmost respect. It's a game we want to go and win.
And it does sound, from the Bishops Cleeve perspective, that basically the whole village is going to turn out for this one, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's a big game, isn't it? And it's and that's obviously they're going to be hugely motivated. So it's that word I keep banging on about, and it's it's mentality, simple as that.
Do you have any good memories of the FA Cup as a player?
When I was we got to the quarter-final one year and lost to Watford 1-0 in the quarter-final, but I was injured, so I wasn't really part of that team. Not really. No.
But there's a buzz about the place when you go on a good cup run, isn't there?
Yeah, listen, I played for Southampton against Portsmouth in the FA Cup. That was a great game. Played for Plymouth against Derby when they were in the Premier League, Everton when they were in the Premier League. They are great games, but I haven't got a great record in the FA Cup, so hopefully that changes.
Good record as a manager, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully.
You said, one more from me, you said a few weeks ago that after the Welling game you might sort of sit down and assess a bit more where you think the side are right now.
Yeah.
Where would you say your side are right now?
Yeah, as I just said, I'm comfortable with where we are. I think I used the word we can sit and breathe for a little bit. I'm really happy that we're Saturday now. Unless we have to replay against Bishops Cleeve, obviously. I'm comfortable with the squad. Jay Fulston and Dan Hayfield are not long-term injuries, so they should be fine sooner rather than later. Jordan, obviously, we know is going to be 4 or 5 weeks yet. Other than that, no, it's cool. I think we're progressing. There's things we're working on in training that I'm seeing we're taking into games, which is great. Little things, but little things matter.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there. Like I said, I'm comfortable with where we are. There's no upheaval needed or overreaction to losing a game, or very calm. We've only had 8 games. We know we're a work in progress, but so far so good.
Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you very much.
I think, as Dave was saying before we came up here, the games so far that Torquay haven't won, you could have won. Does that give you any comfort at all? You've been in the Saturday against Welling, most of the game you had control. Aveley here could easily have been a win. Does that give you any sort of comfort at all that those games could easily have been wins?
So I think that's positive. Absolutely. Yeah, we lost 2-0 on Saturday, but like you said, on another day we win the game. Aveley took a wonder goal with their only shot on target to draw, and Farnborough should have drew the game. I'm not saying we should have won at Farnborough, but definitely I agree with you. I don't think we should have lost either of those games. So, although you're disappointed to lose games of football, it is a positive, as you said, that I'm not sat on the bus thinking, oh my God, the team we've just lost to are far superior to us, and we've got a hell of a lot of work to do. We have got a lot of work to do, but that's because we've got high standards and expectations. So, But no, I agree with you. I think that is a positive thing.
And getting back to the cup game, I know scouting is very different these days. Have you had a chance to have a look at Bishops Cleeve?
I know a few managers in that league.
Yeah.
Stuart Henderson at Tavistock, David Steele at Willand, and Joycey at Bideford. Two of those managers have played against Bishops Cleeve, so I've spoke to them in detail about Bishops Cleeve, and we'll go there as prepared as possible, definitely.
In the National League South, we're thought of as one of the biggest teams, if not the biggest teams in the National League South.
Yep.
You've already experienced going to other grounds, and we saw on Saturday, you'd have thought they'd have won the FA Cup themselves after beating us on Saturday.
Yep.
You were in that role already as the big teams, and
Yep.
you've had to handle that in a sort of a way. Probably we should ask a player, really, is that should help you on Saturday. That, in other words, it's not like you're suddenly in a different role on Saturday. You've been under pressure in every game you've played because of the other teams think it's a big scalp to beat us.
Yep.
Do you think that's a sort of, from the player's point of view,
Yeah.
that should help on
No, I
Saturday,
get what you're saying.
in theory?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I agree, yeah. I think, we're going to Bishops Cleeve on Saturday with not everything stacked against us, but if we win the game, everyone just says we should win the game. We've got everything to lose, and Bishops Cleeve haven't. So, like someone alluded to, there's no pressure on them. All the pressure's on us, and it's got to go there and got to handle it. Torquay United are definitely there to be shot at this season. I get it. Welling celebrated the way they celebrate. That's fine. That's fine. It's. Some people stay humble, some people don't. But it's football. I'm never going to get the ump with someone over celebrating if they win against us. It's our fault they've won. So it's it's up to us to not let that happen on Saturday. And what I will say is, when you hear people celebrating, which you've got every right to, by the way. I'm not sat here being sour about it. Do you know what I mean? It's.
I wouldn't say they're over the top completely.
No, but what my point is, Dave, is you've got to take that as fuel, because it's not nice. It's horrible when you're sat in a change room and the other team's got the music playing and all that, which they've got every right to, because what we do when we win, it's not nice. So you've got to, and you don't want that to happen again. It will, because that's the nature of football, but you've got to make sure it doesn't happen on Saturday.
Paul, this is a bit sensitive, and I hope you don't mind the question, but there's a podcast out on BBC at the minute, Confessions of a Match Fixer, a lad called Moses Schwabo, who was jailed in 2015 for fixing games in our division, in clubs around the southeast. And that's been a bit of an eye-opener for me. I perhaps understand a little bit better why the FA are now so hot on players gambling. Do you think clubs are doing enough to educate players about that at the moment?
I can't speak for all clubs, Clive. I can speak for Torquay United, and yes, they are. I think when I was in the Football League, clubs in the Football League, you'd have people come in and tell you the do's and don'ts, what you can and can't do. I think they should do that at National League level as well, and lower. Or whatever level of football you can't bet on football, I do believe people should come in and have a frank discussion and be black and white with the players and staff who can't bet on football. So Torquay United, our boys are black and white. They know exactly where they stand on it, because they've been educated on that. But I can't speak for all clubs, mate.
No. Do you think the PFA should do more?
I mean, I'm a huge advocate of the PFA. I think they're a brilliant union. They've been great with me in my career, and the PFA do go to every Football League club. I think if you can't bet in the National League side, they should go to that level and give them that instruction. I believe, yeah. So, in answer to your question, they could do a little bit more. I think, yeah.